There's some rumors around Sid again. I know we've been talking about it for the last 2 years. Pittsburgh Penguins are not a playoff team. He grew up a Montreal Canadiens fan from Nova Scotia, as we all know. Listen, I love their head coach. Marty St. Louis is one of my favorite teammates. You got to think him and Sid are good buddies. There's some rumors that, imagine Sidney Crosby playing for the Montreal Canadiens. That'd be sick.
It would be sick.
That would be sick. That would be unreal. Like, every night he comes into the Bell Center, there's, 21,000 people. Here comes Sid. It's just like,
how many more years has he got?
He's 38 years old on his contract.
But he's probably could play 3 more years solid, right?
I mean, fuck.
Yeah. At least.
Swishy says he's getting 100 points.
On the right team, I don't.
It's a lukewarm. What did you say? That was hilarious. It's
a room temperature take. I think if he ends up getting out of Pittsburgh and he goes and plays in Colorado or Montreal, like plays with some legit wingers, yeah, he's a 100-point guy. I think he's got one more season in him.
Crosby's got 2 years left at 8.7 this year and next.
What if he goes Chicago and then McCarr and McDavid both go there too?
And now we're cooking.
Now we're cooking, huh?
Now we're cooking, fella.
You got a nice little squad there. Bedard, just fucking get open, kid.
Right?
I mean,
I don't think he wants to go play in Colorado. I don't think he wants that. Do you? I had no idea.
We're going to have a good idea about that after this Olympics and see like how that chemistry is up there. I don't think he gets moved before the Olympics, do you, Sid? He's going to get moved.
I don't know, but I was wrong. McCarr's got 2 years left. I keep saying he's a free agent. Fucking do your research, Opes. He's got 2 years left on that.
Let's cut that.
No. No, I've been saying it for I've been telling everyone at Big Canyon. I thought he was a free agent. Listen, I don't know what it's like to play for one organization. I was the suitcase, and I'm sure, but even if he leaves Swishy, he's always going to be Sidney Crosby of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's going to be a statue. His jersey's going to be retired. If you grew up a Montreal Canadiens fan, like I'm a Leaf fan, you were a fucking Oilers fan growing up, that would be unbelievable for him to go to play for Montreal, an up-and-coming team that he could come in there and be maybe the reason that gets him over the hump, Swishy.
Yeah, and I think this is a guy he's so routine-driven. He's so superstitious. He's never taken more than 3 days off the sheet. Like, he has his whole thing and his whole life in Pittsburgh. So I just think for him to actually move on, I agree with Uppy. It's going to be probably, if it happens, after the Olympic break around the trade deadline, and Pittsburgh's going to have to be terrible. Like they're going to have to give Sidney Crosby every basically answer to get out of town in terms of just finding a new home, because there's no future in Pittsburgh and there's no movement with, management and Kyle Dubas. I think it's going to have to they're going to have to really be a bottom feeder team for Sid to want to move. I really do.
Yeah. And I talk about how, I think McDavid leaving, Edmonton and going to New York or Chicago, some big market in the States. I think Sidney Crosby going to Montreal for hockey would be unbelievable, especially in Canada, but even everywhere. I just think him playing in a hockey hotbed like that, on a good team, tons of coverage, it would be fun.
What gets the deal done? Cole Caulfield? Because
Dubas does love the small skill.
That little Russian's too good. I don't think he'd get rid of
Yeah.
I saw the boys on Overdrive talking about Dendonoff. Is that how you say his name?
Deminoff.
O-Dog's such a beauty. He's like, guys played 10 fucking games. Yeah, I'd trade him for Crosby. We're talking about Crosby. This kid's played 10 games. Noodle said he wouldn't do it. I would trade. I think Dendonoff's going to be nasty. He is nasty. But I would trade him straight up for Sid.
They got some young defensive prospects, too. A kid I played with, David Reinbacher, in Cloten, Switzerland. He was their 5th overall pick 2 years ago. Now that they just brought in Noah Dobson, it makes him maybe a little bit more available on the right side. So that maybe you could throw something with there. Can you get Patty Laine off the team, too? Can you get him off the books? Can you just give away?
Too, and he can help you on your power play in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Listen, if you brought in Crosby, you would go Crosby, Suzuki, Kirby Dach, Newhook, and then they still have that Jake Evans, who's a good 4th-line center. Would you give up Slafkovsky?
Wow, they got Slafkovsky too, so they got him.
Fulfill's not going anywhere.
You think he's the lock that stays? Or, yeah.
I think so. He's only making.
I would say if Dubas presented this to Crosby like next week, it would actually make Sid think like, wow, there's a chance to go play for probably the team he grew up loving, and yeah, that would be an interesting conversation. If you went to him next week and said, hey, there's a deal to Colorado, will you take it? I bet you he's like, no. But if it's Montreal and like a legit, he would probably think of it, especially after seeing their lineup. up there. The Pittsburgh Penguins line,
Yeah,
it's not perfect.
We need Sidney Crosby back in the playoffs, too.
Yeah.
That's the thing to me. So, anyways, we'll see what happens. I can't wait to watch Montreal. You talk about Montreal, Swishy. They could have the best back end in the Eastern Conference. Their back end is fucking solid, man. Like, really solid with bringing in Dobson. I love their back end. It's right up there, in my opinion, as one of the best in the Eastern Conference.
So you're going to go Hudson, Dobson, and then you have, who do you got? Gooley, solid. Is Mike Matheson?
Mike
He's
Matheson, Carey, and then you got, for me, Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is my number 6. Jack guy.
Wi-Fi is your number 6. And like I said, that Reinbacher, he's going to challenge for a spot. He's a 6'5" defenseman, rangy, good stick, make a good first pass. So that's another guy that, he might start the year in the Vol-Lobes and play 10, 15 games if he doesn't make the team out of camp. But he's a guy that you could insert maybe even to your top 4 later in the season. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that's a guy, his trajectory and his ceiling is really high.
He's knocking on the door.
Oh, he's knocking on heaven's door, baby.
He's got guys looking over the shoulder like, who the fuck is this guy?
He's kind of similar to like a Parayko. Not as big and not as physically gifted, but the way he skates, the way he defends lines, and he's got some offensive flair.
Is he as big as Franco?
Not as big, but he's 6'4", 6'5". He's a shade under. He's not built like Ivan Drogba per se, but he's lengthy. You know what I mean? He's strong.
Where's he from? Austria?
Yeah, but he's got a Swiss pass.
Wow.
So yeah, he's a solid defenseman. He was that year I was in Switzerland. I was hurt, but I watched this kid. And he was projected like second, third round. I'm looking around. I'm like, if there's 40 other defensemen they're going to take over this kid, like who's smoking crack? And then he just shot up the rankings, and he ended up being the 5th overall pick. They have high hopes for him there in Montreal for sure.
Yeah. So they got a young guy pushing. Listen, I like this hockey club. They got their goaltenders. And if you just added 87 to the mix,
Yeah,
wow,
that's an interesting
that would be
take.
interesting.